Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Valentine Lister and this is my Major Arcana series. And for today's video, we are going to cover the Devil card and we're going in deep in the symbolism. You are not going to look at this card the same way after this video. What I found out, the story behind the image in this card really blew my mind. And I'm going to tell you all about that. And we're going to go into that secret symbolism. We're also going to include the numerology of the card, the astrological correspondence, and all that other good. Oh, upright and reversed meanings. Why do I keep forgetting? I forgot to say that in the last two videos, but whatever. All right, so I'm going to show you 3 different versions of the card, including the Rider-Waite version. So we're going to go over to that right now. All right, the Devil. So what do we got going on here? We have 3 different versions of this card. This is the Rider-Waite version. It is the most popular version, and it's not the first. The first version was created sometime as far as we know in the 1400s in Italy. It was played as a card game. And then in the 1900s, Rider and Waite, the publishers, called Pamela Coleman Smith and said, make us a deck, make us a beautiful deck. So she drew this artwork for the card. Then on the right, we have the Lightseers Tarot deck by Chris Ann. This was the first deck that I used. It is an amazing deck. I recommend it for beginners. And then on the left here, we have the Way Home Tarot. And I love this one because I read the book, WTF Tarot, and it just spoke to my soul. So if you're interested in learning more about these decks or books that I use to learn tarot cards that I recommend, I put those links down in the description box below. Okay, the numerology of the card. So it's associated with the number 15 right on the card. And I'm sorry, guys, if you use Rider and Waite or this deck, you got to learn Roman numerals. But this one, super simple. Okay, so 15 is associated with eroticism. Yeah, very devilly. 15, eroticism. So it combines number 10, which was the completion and beginning of a new cycle based on lessons from the past. And it combines it with the number 5. And 5 represented freedom, stress, instability, and change. So that freedom, stress, instability, and change is associated with like the start of this new journey and learning the dark side of wisdom. Okay, the secret symbolism. Okay, so this card actually does have a dark history to it, the actual image on the card. So the image is based in part, not exactly, on a painting called the Baphomet. And that was drawn by Eliphas Levi in 1855. So the Baphomet, the reason why it has such a dark history is because the Baphomet was a deity that the Knights Templar were accused of worshiping. So the Knights Templar were Christian crusaders who fought in the Holy Wars. They lost, and King Philip IV of France was deeply in debt to the Knights Templar. After the Holy Land was lost in the Crusades and support for the Order of the Knights Templar was fading, people were not supporting them as much. So instead of paying them back, he decided to have them arrested, tortured, and burned at the stake for heresy. Pretty messed up. So one of the accusations was that they worshipped a heathen idol called the Baphomet. So what's interesting about that is the speculation of historians is that the Baphomet was an old French corruption of the name Mahomet, which means Muhammad. So with this interpretation, the speculation was that some of the Templars had spent so long in the Crusader states, like in the Middle East, that they had started to incorporate Islamic ideas into their belief system. So we don't know if this is true or not. There's no proof either way. But regardless, it was used as a way to accuse the Templars of heresy. So interestingly enough, the devil figure in the Rider-Waite card has the face and the horns of a goat. And the goat is symbolic for the scapegoat. It's used as a symbol of sin, and even though it provides food, farming, and assistance, milk, food, warm clothing, etc., it's accused of sin, even though it does all that stuff. And so you know, that was like so interesting, connected to the Knights Templar, where they were the scapegoat, you know, like, and they were used as a way to not pay a debt and to, like, you know, I guess come to terms with the fact that they lost the holy wars. And so the goat is asking us to investigate our ideals about wrongdoing and to look within ourselves to reflect on the roles and responsibilities of our actions, right? You know, so easy to point the finger and accuse other people of being our devil. But we really need to look and analyze what's going on within us and take self-responsibility and accountability. Okay, so with the bat wings are the symbol of death and rebirth. So in this card, they speak to exploring the underworld of reality and illusion. So when we're looking within ourselves, that's what we're looking at. What's really happening? What's an illusion and what's real? And and not in this card, but, you know, leaning on our spiritual practices and centering ourselves to figure that out, right? Okay, so down here, we have the chicken feet, and they represent protection because they scratch under the surface of illusion. And a lot of times they're actually used, chicken feet are used in like practices like voodoo to protect yourself, like a necklace around the neck. So also to be noted is that the horns, like the horns on the devil and the humans here, they have horns too. They represent sensuality. So also the devil looks like the mythical creature of a satyr, companions to Pan, and the fertility god of wine and ecstasy. So interestingly, right, we got the symbols for wine and ecstasy right here. So this is also a nod to the god Pan. Okay, so this symbol here, it's a symbol of black magic, and it means everything you can see with your eyes and sense with your five senses is all there is. It's the symbol of Saturn, and it's definitely an illusion. And so we also have the symbol of the pentagram, and this is the word made flesh, expressing the mind's dominion over the elements. However, when it's upside down, it represents illusion. Okay, so the cube that the devil is sitting on, kind of tiny, rectangular, it represents half knowledge. And so we also have chains around this man and woman. And the chains represent, the chains are loose, and they represent that their participation in the scene is voluntary. They are willingly participating in this. All right. So very interesting, blew my mind in understanding this card, like that little history of the images and whatnot. Okay, so moving on to the light seer variation. So the devil is seductive AF. I'm like, I get so drawn into this card, I forget there's this little image of the guy that's like held on by strings. So interestingly enough, he has a goat tattoo on his arm and a chain tattoo as well. So to see how like the images, these symbols that relate to the original, they're nods to the original. On his chest though, a little bit different. This is a unicursal hexagram. So that's a symbol of the Lima religion, and that was founded by Aleister Crowley. And so, yeah, so the image here is so seductive, like, right? You can almost miss the figure in the bottom. This figure is a distressed figure being played like a puppet by their desires. And interesting, we have these strings and they look so easy to cut, right? So it's like a symbol of we're being held on by our ability, like we're experiencing the devil because we can't let go. We can't cut these strings of what we want. And, you know, in yoga philosophy, Buddha philosophy, it talks about how our desires, and it doesn't have to be a big desires. It's not meaning like sexuality or pleasure or things like that. It means we can't let go of the idea of what we want or the expectation of what we want. And that is causing our suffering. And that is the real devil. Okay, so moving on to the Way Home Tarot variation, we have the bridled horse under a carnival, or we have like circus lights here. So the horse represents freedom, and the bridle represents restriction. So a tamed horse represents those parts of your personality that you restrict and confine, like sexual urges. Again, we have the upside down pentacle on the bridle. We also have feathers on the bridle. Feathers are associated with freedom, transcendence, and communication with the spiritual realms. And so this black feather on the bridle, it might represent the dark side of freedom. Okay, let's move on to the colors. Once you get the colors and you know the numbers, those are like little cheat sheets for if you forget like all this other stuff. Okay, so we have a lot of orange. We have some orange here, lots of orange here. So what does that mean? It means warmth, energy, drive, confidence. And then we have red, 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 red here, right? Red flame. And red represents desire, passion, vitality, and courage. We have gray, interestingly enough, on these bat wings. And this little figure's a little grayish too. Gray represents wisdom. It represents the mixing of black and white. Then we have lots of black in this card. Black here, like black on the bridle. And black represents power, the unconscious, banishing, and wisdom. And then we have white, a lot of white here. A little bit there, mostly over here. So white represents purity, wholeness, and protection. Then we have royal blue. We have royal blue mainly down here, a little bit up there. Royal blue represents loyalty, insight, and independence. And green here represents fertility, growth, healing, and prosperity. Okay, and the devil card, the astrological correspondence of this card, it's the zodiac sign of Capricorn. So what's the association here, right? Not all Capricorns are devils. Sorry, guys. My mom's a Capricorn, and so is my mother-in-law, and I have Venus in Capricorn, so I love my Capricorns, love the energy. But, okay, so Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. So Saturn is the god associated with limitations and boundaries. It's also an earthy sign associated with the sea goat and geared towards material security, sensuality, and comfort. So if you are a Capricorn, you have Capricorn placements in your chart, you know that one big issue that you have is letting go and being good to yourself, forgiving yourself, really being nurturing to yourself. And so that is how I see why this card is associated with the zodiac sign of Capricorn. All right, so on to the card nickname. I gave this card a nickname. And if you don't know why, you need to go check out my video, The Easiest Way to Remember the Major Arcana. So the nickname is Calling the X. And if you want to know why I say that, what that means, I'm going to link the card to that video, Easiest Way to Remember the Major Arcana, up here. I'm going to link the video in the description below, because it's easier to remember these cards in connection with each other in a story versus learning every card one by one. It's going to be an easier way to get it. This is going very deep into the card, like all of the symbols, but you want to have like quick ways to remember it too, because once you pull out those cards, we all forget and we have to look up the meanings, over and over again. Okay, so moving on to the upright meaning of the card. If the card is upright, it means fatality, destructive actions, being intensely passionate, bondage to the material, sensation divorced from understanding, the bondage we create and maintain for ourselves. Oh, and when I mean fatality, I mean like we think there's nothing we can do about our fate, or our destiny. Like this is the only, like we are tied to this and there's nothing we can do to change it. That's what I mean by fatality. So some examples like in real life of what that could mean is it could mean telling a lie about someone for your own gain, an abusive relationship, addiction to sex, drugs, gambling, shopping, etc., depression, hedonism, having a panic attack because you think there's no way out of a situation. The reversed meanings of the card. Now, if the card is reversed, the cards are going to come out like this. And it means that the energy is there, but it's being avoided or blocked. It's being avoided or blocked by you, by another person, by the universe, right? For good reason. Not everybody reads reversals, but if you do, that's how to read them. Okay, so what does that mean though for the devil card? If it's reversed, it's the beginning of a spiritual understanding, changing a destructive habit, overcoming pride and self-interest, doing the work to overcome a situation, feeling timid due to past choices, like guilt over those, past choices. So examples of what this could mean is doing the work to overcome an addiction, or choosing to have hope in a situation that seems futile. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed this video on the Devil card. This is just a quick reminder that if you want to catch the next video in this series immediately, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell to get the notification for when that video comes out, which will be the Tower card next. Also, if you're watching this video way into the future, or you just want to catch up on the cards that I've already done, I'm going to link a Major Arcana playlist as well as another related video to the Major Arcana right up here. All right, love you guys. Take care. Bye. If you like this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell to be notified for whenever I release a new video every single week.